In this video, I'd like to show you how to use Inno Studio to make a software installer. And what this will do is make it easier for you to present a package to your customer and them install it. Of course, you can use our software and have your end user place a folder on their desktop, and that's fine, but this is a little bit more organized and makes it easier for people to find, and if they can find it and see it, they'll use it more often, and that's what you want. What we'll do is in the documentation you'll find links to get the correct Inno Studio. You want to use the one with the script setup, and it just makes everything easy. It's a wizard. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Again, the documents will show you which version. Make sure when you start it up that you'll see simple script, blank script. Just make sure your simple script is highlighted. Make sure you check the use script wizard to create the project. If you've used it before and you know another way, go for it. But this is the easiest way I have found. So we'll do it OK. And of course, we'll get now the next window, and we want to make sure this is left blank. Do not check this. All right, and now we want to name our application. This one I'm just going to do Secure Squeeze. Please bear with me. I'm on a different computer, different keyboard, and everything. We'll leave the application version as the same. And of course, you can put your company name here. And one of the nice features is if you do your website here, website of your choice, if you will use this, I will show you how to place a link in the user start menu to your website. All right, so we've got that done. Looks good. Let's go next. And we are not going to use the program files folder. Reason being is the software needs to have write access, and there seems to always be issues these days if it's installed in the program files folder. There are some other options. We're going to use custom and our own setup here. So we've got custom, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use user docs. Okay, what user doc is it places the software and folder in the user's My Documents folder. You can also use Common Docs, which is actually in the Public Documents folder. And this is in Windows 7, 8, and 10. We're not supporting XP, so you don't have to worry about not having a public folder. It's up to you where you want to place it. I'm not going to say it's best one way or the other. I use both from time to time, but in this instance, we're using user docs. All right, we do not want to allow the user to change the application folder. We're unchecking that, and we're going to leave Secure Squeeze for this one. You can name it whatever you would like. Software name is the best, of course. All right, next. So what we're looking for here is the actual exe program that we're using. So let's find it. You downloaded it to probably a folder on your desktop or C drive, something, and we're going to need to find that now wherever you downloaded it to. I've got mine here set up. When you unzip, you'll have something like this. I mean, if you're using one of our different software tiles, it may be a little bit different, but normally 99% of the time you'll have a folder called software, and that's where we need to find our exe file. In this case, we found it right here. We will go back here and browse. Okay, there's software, there's the exe. Now we've got it loaded in. And allow user to start the application after setup is finished. I leave that checked because they can actually, once the installer has finished, there's an option to go ahead and start the software. All right, so we make sure this one is unchecked. Now we need to add a folder. We've got an actual data folder that we need to add. So we'll click folder. The data folder is in the same folder as the exe file that you just chose. So we'll choose the data folder and do select. And we want to add all of the files in the subfolders. And that's a must. So we'll do yes. We're good there. Let's go next. And I'm going to leave this as is. Again, this is the application start menu folder name. This is what the user sees when they click on their start menu to find your software. Okay, we don't want allow the user to change it. And here is the internet shortcut in the start menu folder I was talking about earlier. The URL that you entered, this will allow them to click on it and visit a site of your choice. I do not use the uninstall icon in the start menu folder. Can if you want to, but I do not. All right, allow user to create a desktop icon. Yes, I'll go ahead and check the quick launch too. And now the license file. You can have a license file if you'd like. It's shown before the installation proceeds. And here's one that the information actually, license file they agree to. And here is a file you can show before the installation begins, and you can also show something after the installation ends. So you can read up on Inno site on how to use this function. I'm not going to use it here. And I'm going to choose English. Again, read up on the Inno site if you'd like to understand how to use the languages. Next, we want to give our software setup program a name. We will call it, let's just call it for short, SQUEEZE, squeeze setup. You can call it whatever you would like. Okay, and we need an icon file. There's one provided in the software folder. Let's see here, software folder. Let's go with the large one, the 64. And that's good. I'm going to leave this one blank, custom compiler output directory. You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and just choose a temp folder for this. I'm not sure, they've made some, this is a new version. Maybe it needs it, so let's go ahead and just, let's do a choose the temp just to be safe. Okay, that's good. We're not going to use a password, so we've got our, that's the final exe name. I'm not going to put exe.exe after it. Leave the just like it is, and icon, we're good. So we'll go next. I want to make sure we have the directive box checked. Go next and finish. We don't want to compile the script right now because I need to show you a very important step. And I cannot stress enough that this is a very important step. So what we will do is we're going to go down to the files section here. All right, so we want to find the second one in the line here, the data folder that we added, and we must position our cursor right here after the app and the bracket. We use a backslash capital D for data, and again that needs to be a capital D, and just like I have entered it here, you need to do the same thing. Make sure that you follow this step correctly or your software is not going to work. I don't understand why. I've asked on the forums, I've never found a definite answer, and I've just given up, and I'm going to use it like this, and that way I don't keep wasting my time. People will give you so many different answers, it's kind of insane. But again, this is free software. May I recommend you support the author. Give them a donation. All right, so we've got that all done. Let's go ahead and save the script here. Let's go ahead. We're just going to save it in the script folder. And we've already got one here named this. Let's just call it. I'm going to call mine new. You call it whatever you would like, because I've got a few different versions here that I have been using. So I'm going to save it. I want to make sure, because you might want to use it later. You can always load this up, and once you learn a little bit, you can use this script, make some changes to it, whatever you'd like. Say, for instance, you want to change the URL that is placed in the start menu folder, you can do that right here and recompile it. You don't have to go through all those steps again. That's, for instance, or your version number, name, whatever the case may be. This is really all that you would have to work with to change everything in this script, except for, of course, this data folder. Okay, so enough on that. We have got that done. And now I'm going to start the compile of the exe. It takes a little while. I'm away from my home office and on the road, so I'm on a little slow laptop, and it may take a while. So I'm going to start this and do a pause. Okay, it has finished. And actually, that wasn't bad. 27 seconds. I thought it was going to take a lot longer. So we're good to go there. Now, I always want to stress to everybody that you should test before you distribute. Always. Nothing worse than distributing a piece of software and it not work. You've had it happen to you, I'm sure. And what does it do? It makes you mad. Don't make your clients, customers mad. What we'll do is we will start here. Instead of opening it like that, let's just get the folder. A lot easier. What I'm doing is I'm opening the actual folder where I saved the exe, the temp folder. Again, this may be any folder that you chose. I always try to keep it within the folder I unzipped. All right, so we want to test it. And what happens is you do not have a certificate to sign software, probably. You can get one. They're a couple of $100 a year. And if you're really going to distribute software, you should. But when you click this one, it's going to say unknown publisher. That's just the way it is, unless you sign the software. So you may not see this next screen. I don't know if you will. It says unknown pop up. All right, and now we want to create a desktop shortcut. Go next. We're there. Let's go ahead. I'll just let this run. It shouldn't take just a maybe 15 seconds or so. All right, so now let's launch it. If everything went right, we should see our software. And it takes a little while. The older the computer, of course, the slower it's going to be to start up. And now if we did everything right, we will see the software. Yes, okay. So if you did not do the data folder like I showed you, you would get a red screen here with an error message. And that, if you get that, that's what happened. You did not use the data folder or set this up as I have shown you. All right, so again, you have completed this, and the user has a shortcut on their desktop. They have one on their actual start menu. They have a link to your site. Everything's good. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay curious, my friends.